Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Esther and this is Q-Est Fashion Hub. If this is your first time of stopping by, you're welcome. Kindly hit that subscribe button and join the family. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I love you guys. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this beautiful long gown. So without wasting of time, let's go straight to the tutorial. So I'm working with the gown length of 54 inches. Because I'm using a stretchy fabric, I'm just going to be adding 1 inch for the hemming allowance. So for the folding, for you to know the quantity of material you're going to be folding, you're using the highest measurement. The hip I'm working with is 40.5, but I'm going to be using 14 inches because the fabric is stretching. So I'm going to be adding extra 9 inches extra on fold. This is what I mean. When you divide 40 by 4, that is 10. This is it, 10 inches like this. But right here I have 19 inches and this is on fold. You understand? So that is how to determine your fabric. It actually depends on how free you want the gown to be, because it's going to look like an A-line gown at the bottom. I hope you understand what I just said. So the first thing is that the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the length of the gown. I'm working with 54, but I'm going to be marking 55 inches here. That is including 1 inch for the hemming allowance. So I'm just going to track it this way, like this. 54. I'm marking it so that I'll be able to draw a straight line like this. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and draw a straight line here, like this. Sorry, this is 54. So I'm going to be marking the half length I'm working with is 16 inches. I'll add half an inch, that's 16 and a half, because you know I'm going to be joining the shoulders here. So the hip line is 8 inches from the half length. 8 inches for the hip line. If you measure from the shoulder to the hip line is 24 inches. So any way you want to get your hip line is okay. So right here is 24 and a half. You know we added half an inch that we'll use to join the shoulder. So I'm going to be imputing all my measurement right here. With the shoulder of 14 inches. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. I'm going to be adding half an inch for the sewing allowance, for the joining allowance. So that's 7 and a half. So this is me marking 7 and a half. Don't mind this first line here. So this is I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. This is the shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope I'm going to be marking 7 and a half for the armhole. So this is my 7 and a half, and I will look for the midpoint of that 7 and a half. That is 3.75. So this is it. I'm going to be connecting it like this. Hope you can see. This is the line here to this line, and this is the back armhole. I'll be coming in by half an inch for the front armhole. This is it. So I'm just going to be connecting it like this. The front armhole like this. This is it. So at this point I'll mark my bust measurement. I'm working with the bust measurement of 35 inches. 35 divided by 4 is 8.75. So I'm going to be adding just 1 inch for the seam allowance, because the material, the fabric is very stretchy. So that's 9.75 altogether. So I'll just mark it here. I'll come to my waistline. I'm working with a waist of 31 inches. 31 divided by 4 is 7.75. So plus 1 inch for seam allowance, that's 8.75. This is it. I'll mark it on this waistline. So I'll come to the hip line. I'm working with a hip of 40 inches. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So plus 1 inch for seam allowance, that's 11. I'll mark 11 on this hip line like this. So now knee length of 35. So from the shoulder I'm marking 35 inches. So the reason I'm marking this 35 inches is that it will guide me when I'm trying to shaping my gown. So I'm going to be connecting all these lines together. Sorry for that voice you are hearing. That's my daughter in the studio. So I'm connecting the lines like this from this bust line to the waistline and to the hip line like this. So after the hip line, you know what I have here is 11 inches. So I'm going to be coming down by 1. So I will mark 10 here. I'm marking 10 inches here. So I'll come like this. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So this is what will guide me. I'm just going to be connecting my line like this. Watch what I'm doing. This is where we are coming down to this part. Hope you saw what I did. I came down from here like this, from this part all the way here to the hip line, downward here. What I did here was to subtract whatever I have on the hip line by 1 inches. So this is what I have, 10 inches here. And I connected my lines to the M line. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. And before I cut it out, I'll come to the neckline. I'm using the neckline of 3.5 inches. 3.5. The front neckline, I'm going to be using 4 inches. Like this. 4. So I'm going to be connecting my neckline like this. This is it. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. This is the front panel, and I will place it on the back and cut the back out. The difference between the front and the back is 1 inch. I'm going to be adding 1 inch for zipper allowance. Hope you understand. So I'm cutting this out and I'll place it and cut the back. Then I'll come back and show you guys the next thing I'm going to do. Okay, so first I'm going to be attaching a fishtail. Some people call it fishtail. A tail at the bottom of at the back of the clothes. So the length I need is 24 inches. This is it. But I'm going to be making it 30 inches so that it will fall very well. So this is 30 inches, and here I want it to be as wide as 19.5 inches. This is it. 19.5. So what I'm going to do is that, remember, this is where I'm going to be attaching to the back opening. I'm going to be showing you when I'm doing it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come here and mark the 24 inches that I need as the length. This is it. So I'll come here. This is 11 inches. So this is it. I'm going to be connecting it all the way to form this shape, like cone shape at the back. I hope you can see the line. You know it's white. I don't want it to be too thin. So I'm connecting it from this part all the way to meet this part. So I'm going to cut it out now and show you the next thing. Moving to the cutting of the sleeve. So right here I had to measure. Remember when I was marking the armhole, it was 7.5. So I added plus 1 inch for the seam allowance. This is 8.5. So I came down by 3.5 inches like this. So I look for the midpoint of 8.5 inches. That's 8.25. This is it. So I connect my line from here all the way to meet with this line. So for the round sleeve, I'm using 7 inches plus seam allowance. 6 inches, I'm adding 1 inch seam allowance. That's 7 inches. This is it. And for the length of the sleeve, I'm working with 12 inches. This is 14. I'm going to be using half an inch to join into the bodies, and I'll be using 1.5 inch to hem the bottom of the sleeve. So this is it. I'm just going to go ahead and cut both sleeves out. So I'll come and show you the next thing. So friends, I'm done cutting all the fabric. So here is the tail that's going to be at the back of the back of the cloth. This is it. So this is the front panel. Hope you can see it. The front panel and the facing. This is the facing for the front. These are the two sleeves that I'll be using. This is the back panel. You can see that I've opened it into two like this. I have two pieces of it, and this is the facing. For the back panel, I used 2 inches depth for the neckline, 2 inches by 3.5 inches. So this piece that are here, I'm going to be using them for ruffles. I'll be creating ruffles with them. I have 4 of it here. So this is like 6 inches by 60 inches. Hope you can see. I have 2 here, and I have another 2 here. So this is 4 pieces altogether. The length is 60 inches. The breadth is 6 inches. When it is time for me to sew, I'm going to be explaining what I'm going to be doing with them. So guys, let's move to the sewing of this beautiful gown. Okay, moving to the sewing of this beautiful gown. The first thing I'm going to do is to turn the neckline with the facing. So this is the facing for the front. I'll place it right side facing right side. I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it at the neckline. I'll do the same thing to the back. This is the back piece and the facing. I'll turn the neckline. Then after turning the neckline, I'm going to be joining the shoulders, both shoulders together. Then I'll come back and show you the next step. So friends, I've gone ahead to attach the facing and I've joined the shoulder. So this is how it's looking right now. So I went ahead also and I pinned the zipper allowance at the back because I'm not going to be attaching the zipper yet. So the next thing I'm going to do is to hem my sleeve. I'm going to be hemming my sleeve. I'll fold 1/2 inch and fold another 1/2 inch inward, and I'm going to hem both sleeve. When I'm done hemming the sleeve, I will attach the sleeve. I will attach the sleeve to the clothes, right side facing right side like this, and I'm going to sew the sleeve all the way. By the time I'm done sewing the sleeve, the next thing I'm going to do is that the reason I pinned this down is that I want to attach the fishtail that is going to be at the back to it. So this is it. This is what I cut out for the back. So what I'm going to do is that I'll pick, this is the upper part like this. I'm going to open it up like this. So I will come here. Remember I marked, it was I think 24 inches, sorry. It was 24 inches. So I'm going to start attaching it from here. This part, can you see? Like this. You know, this side is going to be like extension. So I'm going to attach it like this. Let me pin it down so you can see what I'm talking about. Right side facing right side like this. So I'm going to pin it like this. So I will pin the other side. I'll pin the other side also like this. And I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and stitch it all the way to this part where it ends like this. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side like this. Hope you can understand what I'm saying. Like this to the other side. So by the time I'm done doing that, I will attach the sleeve. Then I'll come back and show you the next thing I'm going to do. First, I've gone ahead to attach the fishtail. This is it. This is it. But I've not removed my pin yet. And I've also attached the sleeve. These are the sleeves. So the next thing I'm going to do is to close the side seam. I'm going to be closing both the front and the back together with the allowance I left like this. I'm going to be closing them together from the sleeve like this. I'll close them. I'll stitch all the way to the down. I'll stitch all the way to the down. So by the time I'm done stitching it, I'll remove all this all this pin. I'll remove all these pins. So I'll come back and show you the next thing I'm going to do. So friends, this is the outcome of the clothes, how far I've gone after joining the sleeves and the fishtail at the back. Let me turn it so that you can see the back view. This is the fishtail. Hope you can see, guys. This is it. So the next thing is for me to attach the zipper. But before I attach the zipper to the clothes, I don't want this clothes just plain like this. So I'm going to be adding ruffles to the front of the clothes to give it this elegant look. So what I'm going to do is that I will be making some ruffles, and I'm going to be attaching it from this part all the way to somewhere here. So guys, I'm going to be teaching you how I'm going to be making the ruffles now before attaching them to the clothes. Friends, the making of the ruffles. So friends, I'm going to be making the ruffles now. Right here I have 6 inches breadth, and the length of this scuba fabric is 60 inches. So I have 4 of it. 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is the 4th one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be running a loose stitch at the middle of this fabric all the way. So I'm going to be pulling it to gather the ruffles. By the time I'm done doing all of this for the 4 piece, I'll come back and show you the next thing I'm going to do. So friends, this is the outcome of the beautiful gown we have made. This is the beautiful gown I just made. This is the outcome of the ruffles I just made. Let me come close so that you see a close look. Take a close look at it. So friends, I ended up using just 2 ruffles. Remember I said I made 4 ruffles. I ended up using just 2 instead of 4. So I still have 2 left. That is because the person that owns didn't want the ruffles too much on it. So guys, this mannequin is actually taller than the owner of the clothes. So let me turn it to the back so that we can see the back view. I went ahead to create the ruffles and I attached the ruffles to it, and the back I attached my zipper to the back also. So the stretchy fabric, so I attached my zipper to the back and I am the bottom of the gown. So take a close look at it. This is the fishtail that I'm talking about. Can you see that? So friends, if this tutorial has been helpful to you, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment for me. If you want to see a more detailed tutorial of the ruffles, you can drop a comment for me on the comment section. I'll be so glad to do that. Do another tutorial that is more detailed on the ruffles for you. My name is Esther and this is Q-Est Fashion Hub. Don't stop learning, keep learning. Bye bye.